The truth about tattoo apprenticeships is that I think they're useless and I fucking hate them. And I'm gonna tell you more about how I feel about that.
Pitchforks! Can't be an angry mob without pitchforks!
I just want to apologize.
That's the short and skinny of this, and I'm gonna go into detail about why I feel the way I do because I don't have that opinion just for no reason. If you are new here, I'm a tattoo artist. I am trying to make content creation a real thing in my life, and it really helps a lot if you hit subscribe. So if you're interested in this kind of content and you could see yourself watching me in the future, hit subscribe, okay? Now, I wanted to come at this topic kind of aggressively. I really don't like the way that traditional tattoo apprenticeships are talked about in the tattoo world, and I'm going to share a very unique perspective. I have not met a lot of other tattoo artists who started tattooing like how I did. I hear a lot about the traditional approach, and I just have a different lived in experience. And I understand that a lot of the stuff that I'm about to say is controversial, and I'm allowed to have my own opinion. A lot of people have been doing this the same way, the same people, the same sort of techniques and stuff, and I just don't really give a fuck about any of that. I've kind of broken down so many tattoo walls, and I love being creative and different in that way. I know that if you clicked on this video, you are someone who is either tattooing or interested in tattooing. You know, I think a lot of the people who watch my stuff are tattoo apprentices or people who are trying to get into that, and watching content like this is very inspiring. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit nervous because I don't typically put my opinion out on the internet, but I've been getting real ballsy and I do have opinions. I do have lots of opinions. I formed them myself, you know, I've put a lot of hard work into them, and I feel like they could do some real good. And so instead of feeling scared about putting these on the internet, I'm feeling very excited to start sharing some real parts of my personality with you guys, my real opinions on things. I know they're controversial, so I'm just like, ooh, I don't know what's gonna happen. Just for some context, I have been tattooing for around 3.5 years now. I have a successful tattoo business in Franklin, Indiana. I have lots of really amazing, awesome angel baby clients who let me tattoo them all the time. From the beginning of me tattooing, since year one, I have been successful at this, and I did not have a lot of help at all at the beginning, especially. And it's because of my own perseverance, my own will, my own dedication to growing and learning, and all these like free amazing resources on the internet that I was able to start my tattoo business. Old tattooing was very much like a private club, and I find that so interesting. I think the history of tattooing is so fascinating, especially as I've been learning about it more in my own state, like Indiana, and I've been meeting a lot of the people who have been doing it for a long time. It's a community. It's a different kind of community as well. It's on the outskirts of society. It was illegal for a long time to even do them. So, you know, you had to have like a little something about you that was law breaking. The industry that I love so much came from such like underground roots, you know, like I love thinking about like tattooing like western cowboy bullshit, okay, like fucking Wild West type shit. There was no rules, no laws, no anything. It seemed like it was so freeing and a place for a lot of people to experience something that they couldn't really experience in real life. It was thrilling. It was, you know, hardcore as fuck. There's no numbing cream. Their machines were a lot louder. They were a lot more hitty, you know. I think there are some things about an apprenticeship, like a traditional apprenticeship, that makes sense to me, especially when you think about it from that context. Like, if it was illegal and you could make hella money doing it, they're not gonna want to share that with just anybody. They had a lot of power. There was like crazy shit happening, okay? Like people would set other businesses on fire if they opened up too close to them. This is very real. It was the Wild West in a lot of ways. I met a lot of women. The kind of horror stories that I heard about their apprenticeships and just basic life while they were in a tattoo shop is abhorrent. You wouldn't even think that that shit would be going on as late as it has. But even today, there are people that get sexually assaulted. You get this weird kind of attention when you start tattooing. It's like a very sexualized sort of career. It's an intimate act. I'm gonna be touching your skin. I'm gonna be on your body, At the very least, my hand is going to be on your body. So there's like a little bit of weirdness there too. And if you can imagine in like an old school biker kind of shop, like sexy ladies just like getting sexually assaulted all the time and then no one giving a fuck. That shit was rampant as hell, okay? Like so rampant. You know, if you had that much power, you wouldn't want to change things either. But the hard truth is that everything about the tattoo industry is changing. Everything about it is changing so fast. Something that I just don't like is that there are more people getting into tattooing as a hobby and they're being ridiculed just for having different style or having a different taste than what your taste might be. That kind of stuff does bother me because why are you feeling like you need to manage their taste? Why do you feel like you need to convince them that what they want to get is bad or stupid or whatever? This doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me when you could just work with a client and create the best piece for them possible. The reason that I'm talking about that is because I just want to showcase how the tattoo culture is changing. And so I feel like the tattoo apprenticeships, it would make sense if they changed in a similar fashion, right? Like, I think a lot of the old timey apprenticeships, they're years of hard labor, of being the shop bitch, of like sweeping and just doing absolutely fucking nothing, getting the person their freaking coffee, getting them their groceries, maybe taking their dog out on walks. You know, I've heard some really crazy shit about apprentices and the weird shit that they were made to do. And to be fair, the people that I've heard this from, they're thriving and surviving amazing tattoo artists. They really are. They're so good. And I'm sure that that apprenticeship did a really great job of like toughening them up and building them into something that could sustain them for the long term with tattooing. I just also feel like it's just so lame to me to think that we need to belittle people and break people down to rebuild them back up in our image. That to me doesn't make sense. And if you've never heard of an apprenticeship like this, I promise this is just kind of how traditional tattoo apprenticeships go around my area. From what I've been able to see, witness, and hear about from my peers, it's just evil. A lot of the stuff that they make them do, they don't even let them touch fake skin until years in, which doesn't make sense to me either. I understand that tattoos are permanent, and boy howdy, that matters. You shouldn't be doing bad work on somebody. But I feel like the way that we approach apprenticeships is in that same old school, like chaotic, misery inducing sort of environment. And no one's gonna thrive in that environment. I just don't understand why we are so obsessed with beating people down instead of lifting them up. If you choose an apprentice to be on your team, hopefully you see something in them. Hopefully you see something awesome in them and you want to help them grow and thrive and you love their art style and you can see them changing with tattooing. But if you just want to break down your apprentice and have them do everything how you want it every single time, that's not collaborating with somebody. That's not apprenticing somebody. That is just being an asshole. It's like bad parenting. It just gives me the same ick. I feel like people that shouldn't be parents and people that shouldn't be tattoo mentors are similar people. And I feel like not enough people are aware that like having an apprentice is like having a kid and having the responsibility of a young growing mind under your supervision. Like that requires patience and love and understanding. And if you're not willing to do all those things and you're just like an artist who's really good, you don't deserve to have an apprentice. You don't deserve to have someone who's hardworking, working under you and trying to learn. It just doesn't fucking make sense to me at all. This is all just like from what I've heard about traditional tattoo apprenticeships and like kind of where I feel like things should go. And I'm going to tell you about my apprenticeship and why I have this weird and unique perspective on this, okay? I started my tattoo apprenticeship at this place called Tattooligans. It was in Mooresville, Indiana. I didn't really understand that I was about to get into the tattoo industry when it happened. I wasn't planning, I wasn't creating a portfolio, I was not doing any of that shit. This is kind of an interesting weird coincidence in my life. I've always been an illustrator. I've been drawing really heavily for a long time. That's the only reason that I even kind of started thinking about tattooing. It had been mentioned to me a couple times when I showed people my art, like, have you thought about getting into tattooing? I literally told somebody one time, like, who, me? You're fucking stupid. I was such an Such an asshole. Somebody just asked, like, hey, have you ever thought about getting into tattooing? And I was so offended. I was like, me? Me? Tattooing? Me. I could never. I would never. Me tattooing? That doesn't make any sense. Shut the fuck up. Considering how things went down, I'm so sorry, Chuba. I was just like, I don't know why I was so angry when I was asked that. Maybe because I like really secretly wanted to, but felt like I couldn't. I don't know. So I had just said, like, oh my God, tattooing, I could never. Whatever. And my dad's tattoo artist posted that he was looking for apprentices. He posted that he was just looking for a couple people to start helping out around the shop and whatnot. I didn't have a portfolio or anything. I did have drawings on my Instagram that I had made for the internet challenge Inktober. I'd done that like 3 years in a row, and I just had the drawings from those 3 years on my Instagram. So I went into the shop and I just had my Instagram feed, and I was like, hey, I'm really excited about this, and if you give me a shot, I will do my absolute best. Just based off of that, they were like, yeah, okay. And I was like, okay, cool. It was like around Christmas time, and he was like, okay, get the tattoo supplies, and then when holidays are over, we'll start with the new year. So 2022, I came in for the first week of tattooing. I was just sitting in a room. He kind of showed me how the machine worked. He had me tattoo on fake skin one time. I tattooed on fake skin one day. And then he was like, okay, like literally the first week that I worked there, he was like, okay, yeah, I think you're ready. This was like a really weird experience because I never saw that man tattoo. I saw him tattoo one time, and it wasn't very big at all. He was just kind of like bragging about how fast he was. But I do appreciate that he didn't really fuck around with like, and I did not have to clean anything. I was treated like an actual peer immediately when I started tattooing. He wasn't like weird about an apprenticeship at all. I'd say, on the spectrum, he's on the too little direction side of things. Okay, I tattooed on fake skin that week, and then he had me tattoo one of the artists there. We did a little wizard on his arm somewhere, and it was good enough that the mentor of the shop was just like, okay, yeah, you did it, you're a tattoo artist now, good job. And that same, like the next week, I started taking walk ins. I was a full on tattoo artist as soon as I picked up a tattoo machine. And I honestly feel like this gave me so much agency over my own life and my creative process and my own learning experience. It was completely self guided by me. He was never tattooing, he was even like on to different endeavors. He had a bar, he had a pizza place that he was managing. He literally did not come in and tattoo at all while I was there. He just wanted apprentices because he just didn't want to freaking work anymore. And he had clients, he has this shop that was decently popular because this was a very self-guided environment. There was no work hours, there was no like standard like that at all. A lot of the other artists were never really into work. And so because of that, there was a lot of walk-ins, and because I was just so like new and fresh and really excited about tattooing, I got to take all these walk-ins, and so I got to grow my client base immediately. Like the very beginning of me starting, I got a pretty okay client base because I was just taking all these walk-ins, and I was just really excited about it. I get excited about things like this, and there's not a lot of people that tattoo, especially in that area, that are excited about tattooing. A lot of them have had the life beaten out of them by these weird apprenticeships, or they're not even in it for the right reasons, and they're not even passionate about art. They just have an inclination of what tattooing could accomplish for them, and so they stay in it even though it's not the right business or career for them, and it's very obvious. I'm just not a huge fan of institutions of any kind. School, I fucking failed school. I actually failed school. I couldn't fucking get into college. I wanted to be a band teacher so bad. I played classical flute all throughout high school, and I loved that shit. I was so passionate about music, but I just sucked at school. Getting me to do homework was just impossible. Getting me to do things on other people's schedules, impossible. I just can't learn like that. And I think a lot of people are in the tattoo industry because they have been failed by institutions, and they have been failed by the way that things are built, the systems that are built. I'm just neurodivergent as fuck. I do not fit into those systems. And so tattooing for me is a way out of that. Like I said, it was like the Wild West. Something that I admire so much was that when tattooing first started, they didn't have fucking apprenticeships, you know what I'm saying? They were just trying shit. And I feel like that's how I approach tattooing today because I wasn't given any direction. Now, I do want to preface this by saying I was in an environment where I did learn about bloodborne pathogens. I was never tattooing at my house. You know, these are very different conversations. I have some opinions on those as well. So if you would like to hear my take on some of those, I'll make another video. But basically, I feel like I was safe. I had my bloodborne pathogens training, and everything else was just like a fun learning experience for me at the time. It wasn't very stressful. I understand that tattoos are permanent, but the people that have my earliest stuff, we just look at it and we're like, oh man, that's cool as fuck. Man, I was really a beginner when I first tried that, huh? And now I get to tattoo them today, and they know what they were getting into. They knew what they were getting into when I was an apprentice. And that's okay. I feel like there's a lot of like this build up around, like I said, like having to be absolutely perfect when you start tattooing, but that just was not the case for me. I did a lot of pieces that I'm proud of, and a lot of the pieces from my beginning, I would say, surprised me because I'd heard that it was like really hard to be a tattoo artist or tattoo people. But I think because I just wasn't worried about it being hard, I never let myself think that I wasn't good enough or I wasn't prepared enough or that people wouldn't like my tattoos. I just felt very confident from the get-go, and that carried me onward. My mentor literally gave me the key to the shop and said I could do whatever I wanted, could come in as early as I wanted to and work as late as I wanted to. And a lot of the time I was in there like 12-hour days at the very least, especially at the beginning, because I just, when it's for my own goal and I'm there and I'm self-motivated, there is nothing that I cannot do. But as soon as you put someone else's brain in there, it fucks it all up for me. I just have to be self-employed. I've noticed that about myself already. I've had this realization so many times throughout my life. My two favorite jobs that I ever had, I got fired from for being late. I used to call off of work all the fucking time. I used to be sick a lot, like from work. I used to call in sick and actually be sick. I'd be feeling like absolute shit. Ever since I started tattooing, the amount of times I've been actually sick has been few. The amount of times I've had to reschedule things and things not work out or like had to cancel things, that's different. That's life. That just happens. Happens to me, happens to my clients. That's just life. But the amount of times I've had to call off sick from work, I can count on one hand because I just love what I do. I don't have the time. I don't have the money to like not come into work and do what I said I was going to do. I would not be tattooing if I didn't have that because I wouldn't have made my portfolio. I wouldn't have gone into shops and like done that whole thing. That seems fucking awful. It seems daunting and weird, and the fact that so many people are dealing with that just want to tattoo, that shit makes me really sad. There's like some really talented people that I feel like should have a chance at tattooing. I'm not accepting apprentices, and I won't be for the next however long, okay? I don't know if I ever will. I don't have a lot of good advice for people who are going the traditional tattoo apprenticeship route because that is just not my personal lived in experience, and I understand that the way that I operate is not going to work for everybody, and also, I just got lucky as fuck. I think a lot of the people who are tattooing now just got lucky as fuck. I was just in the right place at the right time, and it worked out really well for me. And I've just had like really incredible supportive people in my life who were willing to get those first tattoos from me. I wish I had more advice in that realm, but I do just want to show that there are so many different ways that people can start tattooing. I offer something really unique and fun, and it's just a different kind of vibe than a lot of the other people who have been taught by the same kind of people and have been learning those same tattoo lessons for a long time. I do a lot of things freehand with permanent markers, and that upsets people sometimes because it's not perfect. Drawing with a permanent marker and then tattooing it is not going to be perfect, but I'm not going for perfect. I'm going for a fun experience that me and my client are going to remember for the rest of time. And it comes with a really cool art piece at the end. You know what I'm saying? I just really love that people are wising up to the fact that they deserve to be treated with respect in somebody's chair. If you cannot work as a team with your client, you are not going to be successful. I think that getting into the tattoo community for me, even though it was at a shitty place at first, that's what made it possible for me to be here today. Because I got in there, my clients decided that I was worthy and I should be there. I really think that it's like any business. If you're meant to be doing this, somehow it will happen. If you can just get your foot in that fucking door, I think that that is more important than having the perfect apprenticeship experience. But to end this, guys, I am just somebody who has had a very weird, particular apprenticeship experience. I am someone who does not work well in institutions, and I like that tattooing is outside of that. I don't need a tattoo apprenticeship to give me worth. I didn't need to come from a fancy tattoo family to make my art worth something. I am just here doing it, and my lovely clients have decided that it's where I am meant to be. And I think that if you're meant to be doing it, it does work out. Okay. Thank you very much. This is just my own personal take. Again, I would love to hear your thoughts because I know this one is a spicy one. I know that people have thoughts. Like, I understand that my experience is so different than a lot of people's. So I'd love to talk about it down below. Let me know. I need to know. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's at 3eggs in a trench coat. TikTok at 3eggs in a trench coat. My email is miaspeertattoos@gmail.com. Website is www.miaspeer.com. Thank you again. I will see you guys Wednesday. Bye.